Welcome to the new birth of me, where we get to unpack where God is using our challenges, our stretching seasons, and those uncomfortable moments to literally birth something powerful within us. I am Michele DeCaul, and I'm excited to be with you. I hope you've been enjoying some of the episodes that we have been taping. We hope that it's really been helping you and creating that place of inspiration and empowerment, and also, too, a nice challenge just to kind of push you, just to kind of, advance you a little further in your purpose and your destiny or in those uncomfortable places, right? And so, again, this podcast is literally to help birth something new. It's the new birth of me. And so today, guess what we're doing? We're talking about the pause before the push. As you all know, we're in a season now where it's the last month of the year, and I know your mind is probably, on shopping. It's Christmas, it's the holidays, it's time to spend time with family. And then before we know it, after that, we'll be in the next year. But I want to make sure that before we start moving and pushing and doing all of that, we got to take a pause. We need to reflect. How was 2025, right? We want to reflect, look at certain areas of our lives just to begin to see just how did we really respond. I truly believe that when we're moving through life, we can't move through hurriedly because there's some things that we need to begin to see, take a look at. Because in that, there's wisdom attached to that. That's going to help us in the next season, in the next year of where we're going. And so today, like I said, we're going to pause before we push. All right? In pausing before we push, it helps us to not just kind of like really hustle to the next goal, hustle to the next plan, but really take some time to reflect. Really begin to look at those areas of our life where God wanted us to fine tune some things. Looking at those areas where we needed to change or let go of some things, right? Adjust to some things. How did we utilize the various areas of our life? Today, we're going to be talking about faith. We're going to talk about our self-care. We're going to talk about relationship. We're going to talk about career. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about those areas just to see how did we adjust? What did we do? How successful were we in? What did we learn in those areas of our life? So let's start. We're going to start with faith. Faith. When we talk about faith, our life must literally be grounded in faith. Can I tell you, it's faith. And the faith I'm talking about is not the faith that we're believing in what other people think or what they say about us, or the faith that we may have in our money, the faith that we may have in our title. No, I'm talking about the faith, a spiritual faith. It's the faith that brings forth that expectation. It's believing in the things that we can't see yet. It's that faith that God gives us, walking by faith and not by sight. It's not looking at those things around us that are temporal. It's not looking at those things to kind of motivate and bring forth this kind of temporary feeling or temporary type of experience. I'm talking about a long-lasting faith where either things are here today or gone tomorrow, but your faith is anchoring you. Right? It's the faith that's helping you to continue to grow when things sort of fall away, when things may not go in the direction that we think it's going to go. When I'm talking to you now, I'm actually thinking about a tree. When a tree is planted, oftentimes and through seasons, they will lose leaves. And there's things in our lives that we will end up losing. But if you are grounded in faith, you can keep growing just like that tree. And so we have to be anchored and rooted in certain principles. We got to be anchored and rooted in certain thought processes so we know how to move through life. And so when I think about faith, this is helping to, the purpose here is to assess just your spiritual health. What was your spiritual health like in 2025? What rocked your world? What almost caused you to kind of fall apart thinking that, you know what, I can't go any further? Or on the flip side of that, when it comes to your spiritual health, what was increasing? What stretched you? Remember, the new birth of me, a part of that is those stretching moments. We got to have faith through those seasons, right? Life is not going to be perfect. And so to have a strong spiritual health allows you to continue to keep plowing forward, to continue to push forward, to be able to endure.
because life is going to keep happening. Life happens, right? We say it all the time. We keep lifing, and we don't know what that looks like. But in faith, you can continue to press forward. And so faith is not about how busy we were for God, but how connected we remained in him, right? How close did you stay? Do you know apart from him, we can do nothing? Apart from him, because he's the one that gives us the insight. He's the one that strengthens. He's the one that helps us get the strategy, the strength, the comfort. There's certain things that we go through life that we don't always know what's going to come. But if your faith is not anchored, like I talked about the tree, you can be tossed to and fro. If your faith is not anchored, how are you this year in 2025? Did you seek God for direction, right? Did you ask him? Or did you just do things arbitrarily on your own or in your own strength? Can I tell you, when you do things in your own strength, it does not allow the faith, the principles of God to literally anchor and guide you through. When we do things in our own strength, we get tired. We get burnt out easily. But when you do things in God and you do it by faith, it's moving by the things that you can't see. Can I tell you, your eyes can distract you? Your heart can also distract you and cause you to come off course, be off course. And now no longer are you moving in faith, but you're moving in your emotions. You're moving by trends. You're moving by your own thoughts. And that may not be the direction that you might need to move in, right? And so when we talk about faith, I want to know, how was your spiritual health? How did your faith grow this year? What experience grew your faith? Oh my goodness, I have countless experiences. If I can think about my faith grew this year, I released my book. It took me almost 2 years to write it, coming out of being diagnosed and healing from stage 4 cancer. And so in the process, I was actually making my own raw journaling notes in the process, and with the intent to eventually write a book. And so last year, actually in 2023, is when I started the process, towards the end of 2023. And in 2024, kind of really got into writing it. I needed faith for that. And then this year, it was the year of releasing it. And so I had to use faith for that, right? I had to use faith to be able to push that through. And so I utilized faith because it was not an easy process. It wasn't an easy process to literally just release everything that, you end up going through in challenging seasons, and allowing people into your most intimate moments. But can I tell you, what was once challenging and feeling as though, sharing all of my fears and my vulnerabilities actually became rewarding. And so this year was a year that I had to use my faith to release that book, because there's something, I believe my journey, or the journeys that we all travel through, it's not just for us. So capturing it in the book was a faith move for me. And so, what kinds of things that you had to ask God? How did God direct you this year? How did you use your faith? Or were you in your own strength? What distractions, right? What distractions pulled you away from God this year? What got in the way? When we sit back to really assess that, because the faith, again, that anchors you. If there's things that try to distract, erode, or take away from your relationship with God, remember I said earlier, apart from him, you can do nothing. The Bible says that he is the vine and we are the branch. Again, another connection with the tree. That when a branch can't survive on its own, it needs the vine. And so because we're going to be interfacing and going through moments of life where we don't know what we're going to expect from one day to the next, faith anchors us. Faith fuels us. Faith redirects us. Faith comforts us. Faith begins to give us that belief that we can't have on our own because we're limited. That's one of the things I love about my relationship with God, is the fact that his faith is always giving me a new perspective. It's always challenging me. It's always affirming me. It's always building me. It's always correcting me, because I do need that correction, right? Everything we do, we have to do it not through our own lens, not through our own strength, right? Because we're limited, but through the faith, the strength, the wisdom, the sight of God. So just how was your spiritual faith this year? How did it push you through? And then if there were areas of your life that, you know what, you neglected to consult with God, to spend time with him, that quality time, that's an area that you want to consider for 2026. How can I improve that, right? That reflection and being with him and looking at these areas helps us to improve. When faith is aligned, this is where clarity comes. You see, we don't look through the lens of our emotions, as I said before, but you look through the lens of faith. And when you look through the lens of faith, things start to get clear, right? I think of a kaleidoscope. When you look through the lens of a kaleidoscope, and a kaleidoscope is that prism, right? I remember growing up when we would go to carnivals and, you know, go to the fairgrounds, they would give out kaleidoscopes. And as a kid, you hold up that little tube and it has all these colors in it. And what you do is you try to focus it in so all the colors can either line up, blend together. And so our faith, without that faith, you're all over the place, right? God uses faith to bring forth clarity. Going through life where everything is fragmented, it's hard to move. But when you look through the lens of God, through the clarity of his lens, we're able to move and now make those decisions that align with the purpose that he's placed on the inside of us. When we don't have clarity, what happens is you start moving on other people's opinions. You start moving on the trends. You start looking at things from your vantage point and not from a higher space. So faith literally lifts us. God doesn't rush revelation. He responds to our surrender. That's yummy. God does not rush towards revelation, right? But he responds to our surrender. When we are surrendered by faith, he now begins to respond. Our faith drives our action. And so when we begin to see that, there is so much richness in faith. It's not just going to church, if you will. It's not a religious thing that you do. It's a lifestyle that we live. And so when we're in faith with God, he literally gives us the benefits of literally moving through life when life is in our achievements and sometimes in our disappointments. Our faith can never fail, right? So point number 2. Self-care. How well did you take care of yourself in 2025? I'm asking you. Did you go to your doctor's appointments? How about your dentist appointments? Right? For our ladies, did you get your OBGYN appointments in? Get your mammogram. I'm going to say that again. Get your mammogram. You know, I'm very passionate about women's health, making sure you're getting that in-depth, really assessment of your entire body, not to be afraid of getting your mammogram checks. And so did you do that this year? Are you at the age to do that? How well did you exercise this year? Did you go on walks? Did you step outside and take in some of that beautiful fresh air, right? Do you know fresh air really does a wonder to the body? Sometimes we don't spend enough time outdoors because we're distracted, right? Society and the things and the trends and all the things that are vying for our attention can sometimes leave us very sedated. And when I say sedated, meaning sitting on the couch, we're on our phone, we're scrolling social media from one platform to the next, and we miss just the beautiful ambiance of being outside amongst the trees, the birds, and taking beautiful walks. How well did you exercise? Did you go to the gym? How much water? Did you hydrate? Did you check your vitals this year? Did you check do you even know your numbers, right? Are you managing your health? What is your A1C? What's your blood pressure reading? What is your heart rate, right? What are some of those things that sometimes we neglect because we're so busy pushing that we don't stop to really take care of who we are? One of the things that I really pride even my business on, my entire life, my relationships, even when I'm coaching women, is the principle of loving God first. That's your number 1. Then loving yourself, and then dealing with the other relationships. Not putting anything before yourself or putting anything before God. Vitally important. When you live your life in a prioritized way, it's more fulfilling. You're not pulled. You can set boundaries, right? Boundaries around your self-care, scheduling time for you, journaling, going to get, spending time just taking care of your body, whether it's a massage, right? Whether it is taking yourself to lunch, taking time to write out, express, having relationships that really can hear your heart and begin to encourage and empower you and challenge you, right? Taking care of simply who you are. Not getting lost in the hustle and the bustle of life, not getting lost in the midst of, everything going on around the world. You are your most valuable asset, and you've got to take care of you. How are your eating patterns? Did you remember to eat? I was just talking to someone just recently, and sometimes when you're plugged into purpose and you're locked in, how many of you know that you can forget to eat sometimes? Yeah, guilty. Right? In that conversation, sometimes we have to be reminded, you gotta put some food or some fuel in the tank so we can keep going. Can I tell you, if you don't, it will show up on your numbers. Your doctors are going to know that you've not been taking care of your body. The other thing is, how much rest have you been getting? Have you only been resting or sleeping on 2 and 3 hours of sleep? Sleep is vitally important to your body. Things are happening. Your body is being restored and replenished while you're resting. How well did you rest? How well were you intentional about resting? Or were you on the go in 2025? Listen, again, when you're able to sit down and really do an honest assessment of yourself, it will help you to now step over into new seasons and into this next year with the goal of, yeah, I know I want to make some more money, but please make sure you're actually getting some rest. What good is it to have money and you don't have rest? I'll let you sit with that for a moment. Your body needs rest. And we have to learn to listen to our body. That headache you get sometimes, could it be because you didn't get enough rest? Maybe the pain in your back, right? Could it be that you've not been exercising? Do you know the core of your body, which is the stomach, the abdomen area? If you're not strengthening the core is really what helps to hold up the remaining part of your body. You have to have core strength. Why do I know that? Because this year I've learned that as I was getting some physical therapy done. The therapist says the base of who we are and making sure as you're getting older is very important, especially for your spinal column. And so getting that knowledge is so important. So we can do running, we can walk, but you also have to do some core work, some abdomen work. And I'm not saying you got to get a 6-pack. If you want to, that's all on you. But I'm just saying, let's have some core strength, because you want to reach as you get older. You want to be able to open doors. You need to bend down without the pain. We can live without pain, right? Remember I told you earlier, sometimes our lifestyle can make us very sedate, where we're stop moving. We cannot stop moving. We've got to exercise, take care of this body so the body can take care of you and you can actually enjoy the life that you're building, right? We want to enjoy the life that we're building. We don't just want to work and cannot enjoy the fullness of our body. So when we're talking about self-care, we're talking about getting that rest and honoring your limits. It's very wise to honor your limits. Sometimes we press past the limits. For what? Who are you trying to impress? What are you trying to prove? Are you trying to get yourself to the hospital? Are you trying to, on the way of your journey, are you trying to literally pass out, burn out? For what? Take care. Schedule time in for yourself, right? So if we personally pause and reflect, here's a couple of questions I do want to ask you. Where did you ignore some of those warning signs of exhaustion and being overwhelmed? Maybe at work. Did you work too many overtime hours? And some of those overtime hours was bleeding into your self-care. If you don't value you and take the time and set those boundaries up, guess what? Nobody else is going to as well. Because sometimes people will look at you like, oh my gosh, she's a go-getter. He's a go-getter. Go, 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 go. And guess what? When they see that, they want you to be on their team. And guess what? Pushing you to do more and more. And so sometimes you have to be able to recognize, because if you don't, your body will shut down. And so let's be wise. Don't push past limits, but know your limits. Did you rest without guilt? Ooh, this is probably a hard one. Sometimes we say we want to rest, but the notifications on that cell phone, beep, 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 beep. Can you even put your cell phone down? Because we feel guilty if we don't respond to someone's request. We feel guilty if we don't respond to the text message. We can feel guilty when we're not always on the go. Sometimes you can find it hard to sit still and just to be, feeling guilty for resting. Yeah, that can't be. I need you to know that when you rest, you're restoring. One of the beautiful things, I was having a conversation with someone just this week, and we were talking about how when you rest, God does the rest. I'll say that again. When you rest, God knows how to do the rest. God gives us this grace, which is amazing. When you tap into grace, you don't have to work as hard. You can enjoy, you can allow the grace of God to carry you through on some of those things you can't do in your strength, because God ultimately wants you to rest. He cares about you. He doesn't want you to work yourself down to the bone, to the point where you can't enjoy your life. He wants you to enjoy your life. But oftentimes what we do, we put people before us, and we've got that people approval, that, pleasing people thing going on. And we got to go. Oh, we got to watch the grandkids. Oh, I got to work that extra hour. Oh, I got to do this. I got to stay, a little extra on the job because I want people to see me. And in the meantime, your body is breaking down, but nobody knows it. No, I don't want you to walk or be in that space of guilt. There's no guilt about taking care and restoring your body. Your body needs you to honor it so that you can now get the best out of your life. My last question: what habits strengthened you and what depleted you? Take some time to write that down. What strengthened you in 2025, and also what depleted you? Be intentional. Take an inventory so that you can begin to see those things, because when you see those things, you know how to adjust. I like to always say that whatever you're aware of, you have the opportunity to change. But if you're not aware of it, how are you going to change it? So I'm hoping that these reflection questions will be able to help you in this area of self-care. You are your most valuable asset, right? And so you got to cheer yourself on. Don't depend on other people. Do it because you love you. Do it because you want to enjoy your body. Do it because you want to live a long life. Do it because you want to travel. Do it because you want to be able to enjoy the hard work and the labor that you're putting in every day you get up, that you want to be able to really fully enjoy the fullness of this wonderful body that God has given us. All right. So that was point number 2. You cannot pour out of an empty place. Rest is resistance against burnout and a declaration of trust and honor to yourself. All right. So take some time to write some things down and see where you are. So that's point number 2, self-care. Point number 3, let's talk about those relationships that build connection. How are your relationships in 2025? Which relationships took you up? And then which ones brought you down, like an elevator, right? Relationships are all around us and we can't avoid them. But what we can do is we can discern them, and we can also decide if we want to connect with them. You don't have to invite everybody in your life. You don't have to move with everybody and do what everybody else does. Matter of fact, sometimes you have to be set apart or just, not in the crowd or not in the trend at times. Why? Because number 1, your faith requires it. Because when God is doing something amazing in you, sometimes relationships can be a distraction. Sometimes relationships can pull you away from what God wants you to do. But then you have relationships that will push you towards your purpose, push you towards the things that God has for you. But you got to be able to discern them. Relationships are important. And then for some people, sometimes we can be afraid because we don't know how to communicate in relationships. We don't know how to confront. We don't know how to communicate how something may not be comfortable, or something may not land right on you, or something hurt your feelings, or actually something that was actually a benefit. We miss out on the communication. Sometimes we don't stand up for ourselves. We don't show up and we let people just do whatever they want to do. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And sometimes what happens is our fear to be able to, the fear of losing people, or the fear of them not liking us, allows us to kind of be in a place of silence, right? Relationships, you have many of them that will help. Many of them that will allow us to be, but you have some that will sort of put you in a place of limitation. No matter the relationship, it's very important that we know how to evaluate the health and the impact of your connections. Relationships are bridges. Some lead to destiny and some may lead to delay. Anybody in delay right now? Are you on the path of delay, or are you on the path of your destination of destiny? Which one? And if you are either or, right? Who's on that path with you? On the path of delay, could it be your relationships? The ones that are discouraging you, they don't see the best in you. They're labeling you. They're holding your past against you. But on the path of destiny, you have the right ones that keep cheering you on, challenging you, correcting you, inspiring, empowering you, and telling you and affirming the place that you are in. Keep on going. Those relationships. When we talk about relationships, how did your support team, those relationships, what areas of growth did you see differently this year? How did you grow with the people around you? How did you grow? Did any of those relationships expose you to new experiences? Did any of those relationships expose you to maybe a new principle that you are now utilizing and it's of much benefit of your life? Did those relationships expose you to just wise counsel? Did they guard and protect? Or did some of those relationships expose you to things that took away from your life instead of adding to your life? As I'm talking to you, I'm asking you these questions. I need you to jot those names down. Jot the names down of those that create a delay, and jot the names down of those that create destiny. Jot the names down of those that added to your life, and jot the names down of those that deleted or took away from your life. Why do I want you to do that? Because as you pause before you press or push, I want you to pray about these names to see who needs to go with you in 2026 and who needs to bye. Yes, and I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's why it's a new birth of me. Remember, these uncomfortable moments, they're going to come up. This is how you do life. You got to have that boldness and courage, because when you see the truth, guess what? The truth will set you free. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go into 2026 bound by relationships. I need to be free. I need relationships that's going to allow me the freedom to be me and not what they want me to be, or me being afraid and moving in fear. Relationships are important. Where did you compromise your boundaries in order to try to keep the peace? Which relationships did you compromise boundaries on? And why did you do it? That's going to give you some insight as to really what's within you. And why didn't you honor you? What was it? What were you afraid of in that relationship? My last question, are my relationships aligned with who am I becoming? Are my relationships aligned with who I am becoming? Do your relationships look like you? I remember my mom would say, show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. Ouch. Yes. Sometimes people don't even need to ask you. They'll just look at your company, because if you're connected to those people, you're most likely like them. So this is why it's so important. Hear me and hear me well. It's so important who you're connected to. As I mentioned before, relationships can take you up or take you down. They'll advance you or they'll hold you back. They'll delay you, or they'll get you on the path of destiny. So for 2025, this is why we got to pause and reflect before we push into 2026. Who's around you? Check your circle. Alignment matters. God often uses people as confirmation, protection, and also redirection. And I want to say this. Don't feel bad if you have to let some people go. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel uncomfortable. Remember the reason why you're doing it, so you can stay in alignment, so you can complete purpose, so you can become the next version of who you are. If you don't want to be held back any longer, check your relationships. And who's speaking into your ear, speaking into your heart, speaking into your mind, because from your ear, it either goes up or it goes down into the heart. All right? Relationships, that's point number 3. Point number 4, finances. Yes, I know. Don't squirm. It's okay. We can talk about finances. And not necessarily about how much you made or how much you've done what you've done with your money, but were you a good steward over it? How did you spend your money? Right? I believe that when God gives us finances, we are, number one, he wants us to be comfortable and enjoy our life, but he also wants us to be a channel of blessing, right? And once we are a blessing to others and there's this, I feel like a greater mission, right? Wealth is supposed to expand us to being able to, I think, sit at certain tables. Money speaks, right? Money opens up doors. Money can put you in places and before people to be able to make an impact, not to showboat. That's not what I'm talking about, right? And when you have it, you don't have to flaunt it. It just will show up on you. But there's a humbleness because you understand that God is doing something amazing and wants you to advance a particular area or a particular cause with the wealth or the money that he's given you. So how were you a good steward? What were your money habits this year, right? What were your money habits? What were your money mindset, right? How obedient were you with giving? How obedient with you were with paying your bills? Did you intentionally not pay your bills to buy clothes? Did you intentionally not pay back lenders that you borrowed from? Do you know your character is attached to that? It's being a good steward. Did you borrow money that you knew that you weren't going to pay back? That's integrity. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but finances, currency, right? Currency. When we talk about our finances and money, it's currency. It flows through us. And when you don't have integrity and when you don't have the right intention regarding money, you put a block in the system. And here's the thing. You put a block in it for yourself because it won't flow back to you. So we've got to be good stewards, right? We have to be a channel of blessing and distribution for other people. When you sow into things, you get it back to you. When you're doing good with money, when you're managing it, when you're taking care of it, it's almost like a seed. And when you nurture it, guess what? It comes back to you even in a fuller form, right? How did you spend your money? Did you invest it or did you spend it all up or did you eat it all up? I'm just saying. Did you eat it? When you get on the scale, will that matter? Okay. I'm not trying to dig into, but I'm just trying to bring up some thoughts and some reflection. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but guess what? I love having these uncomfortable conversations because it's to be able to bring you some awareness. Being a good steward over what God gives us literally lets him know, if I can give you more, are you keeping it for yourself or are you spreading it? And I'm not saying giving out, just, haphazardly, but just being obedient. Money reveals your priorities. Money is not just for money purposes. When I can say just to pay bills and, just for shopping and, to make yourself look good. All those things are great, but money does have a priority and money does reflect and also to exposes the heart of a person. However you are at one level with money, you'll be at a next level. Money just amplifies either the good in you or the not so good. It will amplify your character. And so How you handle money and being a good steward, the levels that you will ascend to will allow you the ability to really show who you are. Being a good steward is a spiritual principle. So let me ask you, did you spend on things that will help to align your value? Did you spend on those things that helps to align with your value, with your morals? Was it in alignment with the things that will be driving your purpose, the things that you're passionate about, the things that what's important to you? Were you disciplined or were you impulsive? When you went to the mall, you know you're supposed to get a pair of shoes, but you ended up buying 3 outfits and came out with 5 pairs of shoes. And you charged it. You don't really feel it when you swipe the card, but then when the bill comes, you don't have enough money to pay it. So now your credit card balance continues to increase because you're an impulsive shopper. You lack discipline. That's not good for your finances. Know who you are. Understand, are you disciplined? Can you tell yourself no? So that you now can begin to become a good steward. And really, did you need the 5 pairs? Because you originally needed 1. So did you need the additional 4? Or was it because you were wanting to, there was a meaning or motive behind it? I don't know what it is, but just for you to kind of sit with and think about. Did I operate from faith or fear concerning my finances? Can I ask you this? Were you a good tither this year in 2025? Did you give? Did you invest in someone? Did you saw a need and was able to use your finances to be an answer or solution to that particular problem? Being a good steward. When you're able to do it on certain levels, guess what? When you get to the next level and you start increasing, you'll even do it even more. You're not stingy. You're not withdrawn. You're not holding back. You're not greedy. Yeah. When you're a good steward, God gives us so that, again, we're channels of blessing. Because it's a currency. There's a flow that comes. And so when we flow in that manner, not only does it bless the other person, but can I tell you, because finances is a spiritual principle, when we're able to give in that manner and not be just giving towards ourselves, it literally blesses the other person, but it does something very rewarding to us to know that you may have helped someone to put food on their table, or you helped someone get their mammogram screening, or you helped a family in need so that child can go to school, or you had a cause in another country because a certain well needed to be built, or whatever the case may be. You were donating to school or donating to a ministry, and because of your finances, life shifted and changed, and now they have hope. Finances. And as I mentioned before, finances, it's okay to be comfortable and to live a life that is satisfying and pleasing. But it's with the extra. It's with the increase. That we want to make sure that in 2025, how did you steward your money? Did it all come back to you? Or was it all paid in bills? Did you not have enough? And was it because you didn't have the right habits and you weren't disciplined? God can trust what we manage well. Financially, clarity brings peace and not pressure. Being a good steward will bring you peace and not pressure. Point number 5, let's talk about career. Evaluating before you elevate. Are you in the right career? To assess your personal fulfillment and also to assess your purpose and your growth. When you're in the right space or the right vein of what you desire to do in life, can I tell you, it affects your joy, it affects your peace, it affects just the excitement and the fulfillment. When I talk about career, I'm attaching that with your purpose. What did you do, or what are some of the things that help to advance your career, advance your purpose? Are you even clear on your purpose? What kinds of things allowed you to expand and grow? What type of classes and courses did you was able to take, sign up for, to help expand your knowledge and understanding on the things that you enjoy doing, on your purpose? Did you invest in yourself? Invest in your education, taking courses and classes, master classes to help sharpen you. When you are in that space of success and moving in purpose, when you're not building and growing, you can get frustrated and move out of alignment. Are you in the right place? Or are you just in a position to just make money, but you're not, your heart is not in it? Are you in the wrong field? I was talking to someone this week, and they were sort of frustrated because they're working long hours, but there's no excitement. There's no advancement in that company that she's working in. And so she's going to work every single day, getting a paycheck. And mind you, she's getting a paycheck, but it's not even covering the bills. So that's even more pressure. It's even more pressure. And it's nothing worse than not being in a field or a career that you enjoy, and then it's not even covering your daily bills. So now you get up every morning in drudgery and you're dragging your feet. Can I invite you into really locking in? If you hadn't found that space, I want you to invest in that, to discover that, so that you're not just grinding, but you're growing. Were you grinding in 2025, or were you growing? The place that you're planted in right now to bring forth a service, or to bring forth empowerment, to bring forth solution and creativity in the field, are you happy? Are you hustling and grinding? Or are you purposely feeling the pleasure and the gratitude in what you do? Does my work stretch my gifts, or does it silence it? Ooh, that's really good. Does my work stretch my gifts, or does it silence? Do you know it's okay, again, in the stretching? When you're birthing something new, just like a pregnant mom, you gotta stretch. And when you're loving the thing that you're in, it's going to require you to stretch. It's going to require you to do something that goes beyond the everyday occurrence. Doing this podcast is a stretch. It took me, as I shared in the episode where I talked about obedience, it took me 9 months. I was making excuses, procrastinating. What was I doing? Avoiding the stretch. Come on. I know I'm not the only one out there. Sometimes those things that we're called to, it can be uncomfortable. And it requires a stretching, and sometimes we don't want to stretch. Until you get to a place where you hit that place of unfulfillment. This is not doing it. I almost exactly knew, I was telling the team, I knew when God was pivoting me, because the things that I was doing, it's like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I feel like I'm just doing it to be doing it. And that is not helping me, and nor is it going to help the audience that I've been called to speak to. So guess what? Now I've got to stretch and now go to the next level of the thing that I love. And now it's doing this podcast. The stretch. Did you stretch this year? Right? In your career, or did it silence you? In this season, did you feel the advancement or the preparation when it came to your career, your purpose? Are you feeling that? Did you feel it? Can you feel like you're on the cutting edge, or you can feel this stirring in your belly, right? Do you feel that? It's almost like it's an anticipation. Again, can I go back to my example about a pregnant woman? She can feel when that baby's coming, right? You're feeling the kick and the kick and the kick. And that's the same thing that happens in purpose. When you're in career, can I tell you, it actually, you can feel that stirring. I'm getting ready. It's about to change. It's about to shift. I'm about to be advanced. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know it. I feel it. I can feel it. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. Being in the right place and being in purpose, you will feel those moments. You'll feel those seasons. And so, how were you in 2025? Are you fulfilled in your career? Are you fulfilled in the purpose? Are you showing up? And if not, why not? Are you feeling silenced? Or are you feeling the stretch? Can I tell you one other thing about the stretch? When you stretch, it stops you from being bored. Because when you stretch, it requires creativity. When you stretch, it requires another side of you to be revealed. And so if you're not doing that, that means you're silenced. Your joy is gone. All of that everything. Ideas are silenced. You even lose your voice in it because it's silent. Not every open door is a God door. Purpose produces peace even in the process. And so even when we look at our careers, why it's so important, right? We don't want to just be getting a position or being in something because of money. Money may be good, but if it's not attached to your purpose, if there's not alignment there and the door opens, that doesn't mean you're going to be fulfilled, right? We want to make sure in the things we're doing, it's purposeful, it's peaceful. You can feel the joy in it, right? Because in it, there's a process in which you'll experience that personal fulfillment. That was point number 5, career. Point number 6, let me talk to my business owners. Were you able to have vision for your build? What did you build in 2025? And this can apply to anyone. If you're just, at the stage where you are, writing out your business plan, or you just started stepping out and just you and yourself right now, or you might have 2 people that's working with you, or maybe you have a team of people. No matter where you are in the stages of business and you've been called to business because it's a part of your purpose, how was your build? Did you have vision? Did you stick with the vision? Or did you deviate? Did you give up? Right? Because we don't want to plan a business and it becomes a hobby. That means you're not serious. A business and a hobby is 2 different things. I can have a hobby and go down to Hobby Lobby and pick up a couple little arts and crafts and do it for a moment. But when I'm talking about business pulls you into a lifestyle of being in this thing for longevity. Not, I'll pick it up today. No, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. Like, you're not really passionate about it. Business requires your passion. Business requires your drive. Business requires your ideas. Business requires all of you. Because when things get high and then they get low, you got to be able to still stick in it. Did you give up this year? Or did you press past? My business owners, when it got hard, when the rubber hit the road, did you stick in it? Right? Were you able to, was it necessary for you to go to the bank to maybe get that loan? Were you brave enough? Were you brave enough to even invite support people in to help when you needed the help? Or did you do it all on your own and then, start questioning, am I really called to do this? Right? Did you question and doubt yourself when things were tough? When it comes to business, you have to ensure you have a vision. Do you have vision for your business? Because that's what's going to keep you focused. Because if you don't have the vision, you're going to be listening to opinions. You're going to look at trends. You're going to compare your business to somebody else's business. And there's no comparison because what you bring is unique to the purpose that God has for you. You're going to bring it different. So you cannot compare apples to oranges. We may have businesses, for example, we all may have a business just like there are so many different fruit. But an apple is not a banana. You may have a banana business, she may have an apple business, but you can't compare it. Are they fruits? Absolutely. Are they business? Absolutely. But it cannot be compared. So you have to know your vision is what keeps you focused. Your vision is what keeps you in alignment with what you've been called to do because it's specific for you. When you have vision, it gives you strategy. And then when you have strategy, timing, and being in relationship with God, because your faith is definitely required in business. Because when it goes when you have those ups and downs, you got to hold on and lock into your faith. When it comes to business, did you have the obedience to build it? Did you strive to build fast, or were you methodical? Did you run out of energy? Did you run out of gas? Did you run out of money? Did you run out of ideas? Or were you doing it at a pace in the timing of God, where you were able to take one step after the next and really now begin to exhaust and put everything in? It's almost like a sponge. When you take a sponge and it has a lot of water in, you squeeze everything out for you to be able to see what can be produced in that moment. So here's a couple of questions that I want you to reflect on. Is my vision still God-breathed, or is it self-driven? Pet peeve of mine, I don't like when people say they're self-made. What? All right, I won't go on my soapbox about that. I'll refrain. Was this a God-driven business, or was this self-driven? Because if it was self-driven, you're not going to be able to maintain yourself. Because if it's self-driven, you're in your own strength. And that means God's nowhere around. Everything we do, I believe, God has to be the center. If he's not the center, you're going to run out of things. And then guess what happens when you run out of things? And if it's self-driven, you will collapse. You'll collapse. And so when we understand that, when you have God at the center of your business, he's always constantly breathing new ideas, breathing in new concepts, new perspectives, because he sees all. And he knows how to keep you from getting bored with your business, because there's so many offshoots. And that's a whole nother episode that we can talk about. Just, an apple in your hand can do so many different things, can be a variation of so many things that can enhance your business. Did I build from pressure or from prayer? I can go on about that. Did you build from pressure, or did you build out of a place of prayer? Building out of a place of prayer says I communed with God. I was in a place of prayer. I was able to, as I prayed, I put my business before him, and I was able to seek him. And then he started adding things and showing me things, revealing ideas, revealing location, revealing strategy, revealing money, revealing people, revealing clients, revealing that slogan. He started revealing some things. And once I got the revelation out of my time of prayer, I was able to now stand anchored. And so now I've got something to run with. As opposed to, what would it be to run off of pressure, burnout, overwhelmingness, not happy, disappointed. It's not working. I'm frustrated because I'm now in my own strength, or I'm running from opinion to opinion, pillar to post. That is not rewarding, and that's not satisfying. Can I tell you? When it comes to business, you need more than just your idea and your opinion. You need God's insight. Because when you have God's insight, it's always a fresh well, if I can say it like that. And then he can also show the pitfalls at the same time. What needs refining and not rushing? What needs refining and not rushing? When it came to your business this year, were you able to refine some things, or were you just rushing through some things because you had a target, money goals that you had to meet? Can I tell you, when it comes to business, you got to love what you do, because if you're rushing through it, you're not enjoying it. And there's some pitfalls, and it can get very frustrating. There's something when you're in business and it's connected to your purpose, it helps to fill the heart of the person. That people see you and they know that you live and breathe the thing that you enjoy doing. The money is just secondary. The vision, who you are, what you bring, your passion, your confidence is what people begin to look for. You have a brand that is so unique that I want to buy that because of what you represent. I want to connect with you because of what it represents. And when that is the foundation, can I tell you, then the money comes. It's easy to meet the money goals. And when the money's not there, guess what? You don't just give up and just walk away from it. Because when you're passionate about, it's your passion that becomes your fuel that can keep the money or allow the money to be restored and replenished. God honors alignment over acceleration. Timing matters as much as your vision. So when it comes to business, alignment matters. It's not about how quick we get it done, but how aligned are you with God when it comes to your business. Timing, his timing is perfect. And when you're in timing and when you have the vision, things can become fulfilling and satisfying, not just for you as a business owner, but for the clients that you serve. And so as we come into just a descent on pause before you push, I hope that this allows you to kind of sit back and just have some self-introspection, to reflect on just how did I journey, whether as a business owner or in career or going to school or perhaps, just taking care of myself. How did I, manage my money, and where was my faith this year, right? It allowed you to now have higher places of awareness. Before you push forward, I want you to pause. Before you push forward, I want you to pray. Before you push forward, I want you to reflect. Before you push forward, I want you to consider, do you need to realign some things? Because as you do that, you'll be able to see what needs to go over in this next season. You'll begin to see clearly that clarity, right? That's going to help you map out 2026. And so there'll be an episode where we'll talk about that as well. But for the moment, I want you to pause before you press. Pause, pray, reflect, and then realign. Don't just ask God for more. Ask him for wisdom to steward what he's already given you. Be still, know he's God. And when you're able to be still, you'll take that time to reflect so that you know how to realign. And so, if you have not shared this, I want you to go ahead and share, subscribe to the new birth of me. If it's been a blessing and it's empowering and inspiring you and preparing you for wherever you are in the birthing season, I want you to go ahead and be a blessing to someone else. So go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you'll be notified when the next episode is coming your way. And so that's it for this episode. We'll see you next time on The New Birth of Me.